Hi everyone, it's Davian Hill here, and I have the pleasure and honor of interviewing Dr. Ancona from the Tutoring Center here in Oviedo. And today we're here to discuss the 7 secrets and strategies of helping your child improve their overall test scores, their school grades, and obviously ending the homework frustration that, as parents, we all tend to go through from time to time. So I just want to first of all welcome Dr. Ancona.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here. And first of all, Doc, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself personally and then also the center so we get a sense of who you are
Sure.
and how you help people.
Sure. I started off 20 years ago as a high school teacher and did that for a number of years and then afterward went into the sciences.
Gotcha.
And now I've kind of come back into bridging the science role with my teaching role to have this center here in Oviedo. The center itself started off about 20 years ago with our main center in Long Beach, California.
I see.
And it was built on the idea of how do we increase a child's attention and concentration and at the same time help them with their academics. So we originally started off actually with ADHD children and ADD children. And so in that model, we developed, based on research, what we call the rotational approach to learning, which is an excellent way of increasing a child's attention and concentration at the same time increasing the child's academics.
Beautiful. So you have a science background, but one of the things I've noticed is when you work with kids, you have a real passion for helping kids.
Right.
Where did that come from?
You know, it's a great question. I've always been passionate about all the jobs that I've ever had, but really, I think the passion really is the children themselves. Whether I was teaching in high school, I noticed that I was even tutoring people and tutoring my son's friends after school. I just love helping kids. And so when I bring people here in the center to be tutors with me, I look for the same passion that I have.
And did you have tutors as a young man growing up as well that instilled that, sense of wanting to help, to nourish?
I did. I was lucky enough to have some pretty great tutors along the way. Absolutely.
Good stuff. All right. Well, we're here to talk about Dr. Ancona's 7 secrets. I mean, that's going to help us as parents to really impart and empower our children to get better test scores, grades, and obviously end the frustration. So why don't we roll right into it and give us the first tip, Doc?
Okay, so the first tip, all of these really apply for kids who are getting C's, D's, and F's, right? But really it can apply for all children. But if your kids are getting C's, D's, and F's, probably definitely want to take a look at these 7 tips.
Gotcha.
The first one being getting a basic basic diagnostic evaluation. And really that's 3 parts. The first part being a pediatric evaluation. You want to rule out ADHD. You want to rule out blood concerns or blood work problems. The second kind of diagnostic evaluation you would want to look for is an optometrist. You want that done by an optometrist, not by the regular pediatrician. The optometrist is going to be able to rule out certain conditions that actually mask themselves and we think look like ADHD, but they're really just ocular problems, eye problems. Okay. This third type of diagnostic evaluation you want done, and you can do this online, or of course you could do it here at our center in Oviedo. We do it for free. Is it just a basic diagnostic evaluation that's used maybe on a national scale in reading and in math? And that's something, again, we do here. You need some kind of evaluation outside of school many times to kind of, hey, where is my child at? What's the baseline of my child at compared to other 2nd or 3rd graders, for example?
I think that's a great point because oftentimes as parents, we tend to try to diagnose the problem ourselves. We think maybe it's the kid is just hyper attentive, or there's something going on, or maybe somebody says, hey, your child has ADHD. But I think that's great advice for us because it allows us to seek outside of attention, especially when we talk about optical issues. That is a big challenge you've seen with kids.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have kids that unfortunately, myself being a pharmacist, the parents will come in and want to talk medications with me, and I'll notice that really probably not a medication issue, really more of an ocular issue. And so that's why we say, hey, you want to go and get those things checked out. Pediatrician first, then optometrist or ophthalmologist, and then after that, then you want to get some kind of basic diagnostic evaluation.
Beautiful.
So the second big tip is to ensure the health of your child, which sets up academic success. And so what we're talking about here is some basic things like the child getting to bed on time. We're noticing that kids are staying up very late at night, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. All of us need 8 to 10, and in the younger ones, 10, 11, 12 hours of sleep each night. As part of this, kids are skipping breakfast. I mean, here it is. We don't have much blood sugar going on, right? Our blood sugar is not so good at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then kids skip breakfast. It happens a lot, and that affects academics. So we have to ensure that as parents. And then 1 hour a day, kids should be exercising. The studies keep showing that exercise is crucial for mental health and awareness. The next big tip that we want to think about and focus in on is the homework itself. We really should consider as parents limiting our child's what I call screen time
Right.
From Monday through Thursday on school nights to perhaps 30 to 60 minutes maximum. The studies keep showing over and over again when you look at gamers versus non-gamers, and that's what we're talking about with screen time.
Gotcha.
You know, the video games, the Xbox and PlayStation, things like that. That simply put, the gamers score academically less, scientifically speaking, than the non-gamers, and that's obviously because they're spending more time playing video games.
I see. So it's not about the video games themselves, it's the fact that you're spending more time there.
Absolutely.
I see.
And these games are quite addictive, as many of us, I've experimented myself on some of these video games. So what's the big deal? Let me try this. And I myself can become pretty addicted to these games. And so I'm thinking a 10, 11, 12-year-old kid can really become addicted. So we really want to keep an eye on that. Kids are given a lot of homework nowadays, and to be spending several hours a day on screen time, probably not the best way to optimize our time.
In fact, I agree with you because, you know, one of the things that my wife and I have in place is, you know, it may be a little bit strict, and that's okay, but we don't allow kids to watch TV during the week. It's homework and outside time. So we reinforce activity, homework, and then reading as part of their regimen during school days.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I think that's a great tip.
I think we sometimes forget, you know, prior to 1947, 48, there were no TVs in homes.
True.
And so how did they educate their kids back then? Well, they did music and they did reading. Right?
Exactly. Right.
So the next tip, again, related to homework, is that what we call homework being done in a public place. Now, here's what we see happen. The kids say, "Hey, Mom and Dad, I'm doing my homework in my room with my Xbox, PlayStation, TV, video games, and iPhone." And many times, basically, the homework's not getting done. There's lots of distraction there. Even if it is getting done, the iPhone is signaling a text message. And so probably not all the homework that we want being done in the room is getting done. Certainly not getting done efficiently. So we encourage our parents to first make that homework time public, meaning at the kitchen table, perhaps, where we can see what's going on and we can ensure that we don't have distractions in place.
Right.
That's a key part of that there.
It's important.
Okay. Okay. Now, secondary to that, once the trust is built and the child's getting B's and A's and they're doing great and they're using their room appropriately for studying, sure, why not let them study in their room? But yet the trust has to be built first.
I understand. And you're a proponent of allowing them to build that trust with the parents and then giving them that lenience to do it in their room. You're not saying they always have to do it in the public view. They can definitely be able to have the opportunity to do it in their room.
Absolutely. Especially if you have a mature person here in school and they're able to handle it on their own, they're not getting distracted, they're not on the computer. Matter of fact, many times when child is getting C, D's, and F's, we tell parents to take all the electronics out of the bedroom first.
Wow.
Then bring them back into the bedroom once the trust is built and the grades are improving.
One just off the cuff is, how do you, as a parent, communicate with the child who, you know, will maybe get upset that you're now removing something that they think they're entitled to?
You know, that is a big challenge. That is a huge challenge. What we encourage our parents to do, what we know, let's go back to what doesn't work.
Gotcha.
Okay, I tell you what absolutely doesn't work is taking everything away. Removing everything away for weeks at a time doesn't work because the child just rebels in most cases.
I see.
So what we encourage our parents to do is these electronics and things in their bedrooms really are privileges. And so we want to use those as nice carrots for the kids. And so what we say to our parents is, look, all the homework should be done first. All the reading time should be done first. Then our carrot is, okay, now you've earned 30 to 45 minutes of your Xbox time.
I see.
And that works extremely well. But that only comes after all the other responsibilities have been taken care of. We've had a couple parents in the past that have done the reverse, where they let the kid have Xbox and so forth early on and then expect homework to be done at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Not a good idea. It doesn't work.
I see. Yeah. Gotcha.
The next step would be the use of requiring the child to use a planner. This is a big thing, whether they're in elementary school, middle, and high school. Lots of kids, simply put, are not writing down their homework assignments or test dates. And so we encourage our parents, if they're in the younger grades, they most certainly should be using a planner, either provided by the school or one that they can come up with, where the child writes down what the homework is for the next day. Matter of fact, we encourage what we call the 5 times per day rule on planners.
Okay.
So the child should be checking and updating a planner a minimum of 5 times a day, whether they're a first grader or they are a 12th grader. And the idea here is the first time the child checks the planner is before leaving home in the morning.
Okay.
Second time they check the planner, and the third time they check the planner is obviously during the school day and any other updates that happen during the school day. The fourth time they check the planner is before leaving school. Okay, right before leaving school, because there's a homework assignment.
Sure.
They need a book to bring home. They should be checking planner right before leaving. And then the fifth time is at night during homework time to verify everything's been correct in the planner and the tests are prepared for. So now, when our middle and high school kids are asking me about this, I always break out my planner, which is on my iPhone, and I say, you know what, parents, we can actually use that to our advantage. Let's use screen time to help us. Technology to help us. And so I always show our students, hey, I have my entire planner right on my iPhone, and look how organized it is. And you can do the same thing. And so that's one exceptional rule that we make with our parents is, okay, let them use their iPhone if trust is there to access their planner. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, because I see a lot of parents and also teachers allowing kids to have cell phones in class. I mean, I'm not a big proponent of that, but I know a lot of kids are using their cell phones and the internet for research now, and they're giving them that opportunity. So that's quite interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
The sixth tip is the 2 academic issues that cause the vast majority of academic issues in school. And these are the 2 to focus in on. So the tip is to really look at these 2 areas as parents. The first one is in math. Okay, so if we look at elementary math for a moment here, we absolutely must require the child to memorize the times tables up to 12. Adding and subtracting any number up to 20, all of that should be done in less than 1 second. So if I say to a child, 6 times 5, if I say to a 3rd or 4th grader, certainly, by third grade, the multiplication tables must be memorized. Ideally between 2nd and 3rd grade.
Gotcha.
But definitely during the 3rd grade year. Now, if I say to a child, okay, what's 6 times 5? And the child is doing this, 6, 12, 8, we got a problem.
Wow.
So what we want to be is 6 times 5, 30. 6 times 6, 36. It needs to be clean because the days of math computation scoring now on FSA stuff, meaning that you get 6 times 6 is 36 as a test question, those days are over. Now it's math application that is being required. You have 6 elephants on a field. 6 of them are carrying apples in their trunks. How many total apples are on the field?
Sure.
36.
Sure.
Okay.
And that deals a lot with comprehension.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. So there really can be no delaying. I know in the era of the electronics, kids want to bargain their way and don't want to sit down and just memorize times tables. There are some great apps out there that helps with times tables. There's computer games that help with times tables that we can kind of use, again, the technology and the screen time to help us. Bottom line is they're in 3rd grade, got to have the times tables memorized, and they're going to need it for the rest of their life. Addition and subtraction, if they're earlier than 3rd grade, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade, we should be working with them on adding and subtracting any number up to 20. Again, same idea in less than 1 second.
I see.
Okay? Part related to this as well is now the reading part. Okay, again, the second academic issue is the reading issue. Okay, we've got to encourage our kids to love reading. It is a long, gruesome battle if we don't. Kindergarten through 2nd grade, they should be doing at least 30 minutes of reading per day, not reading right before bedtime. Okay, so here's where our parents try to do the best thing they can. They say, okay, you know what? Teacher is requiring 30 minutes of reading a day. Okay, so we're going to do it at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, right before bedtime.
Ah, I see.
Problem, child is not as alert as they could be. So we actually encourage that reading time. That's you can still have the child read right before bed. That's to help with sleep. We're not talking about that kind of reading time. We're talking about reading time that helps them grow academically in reading.
I see.
That should be done between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Okay.
And then 3rd grade and beyond, 30 to 60 minutes a day of reading. And again, the reading should be things that the child is passionate about, subjects that they have picked. That's the key to reading time. And you have to really kind of make it set in stone, and including weekends. Reading time does not end on Friday.
Good point. Good point. I was going to ask that about, making sure they invest in the curriculum books versus in what they're really passionate about. So reading time focuses on their passion.
Yes. And so that's sometimes a disconnect because our teachers will say they need to be reading at this certain grade level, and that's okay. We understand that.
Right.
But if the child already hates reading and is already behind in reading, that's going to be very difficult for them. So we first say, hey, give them, look, I started off with comic books. That was my first thing. So get them whatever their passion is, focusing on, even if it's video games, buy them video game books.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, great point.
The last tip is utilizing the summer for academics is absolutely crucial. Okay, kids basically take the summer off most cases, right? And they forget over the summer. They lose about 2 to 3 months every summer, and so that's why our teachers in August are always reviewing. Okay,
sure.
So let's just say, for example, your child is going into 5th grade. We're going to make a quick example, okay? And it's June, it's May, June, going into 5th grade, and we test them here at the center, and they're scoring at 5.0, meaning they're right in line, ready for 5th grade in May, June. Now August comes around, and they haven't done any summer academic tutoring. We test them again in August. Their scoring is around 4.6, 4.7. They're about there's a 2 to 3 month loss by the scientific studies continue to show that. However, you can offset that by doing summer academic tutoring.
I see.
1 hour a day. You know, I always, when we talk to our kids here about it, I say, hey, you're going to be up 15 hours a day during the summer. We're asking for 1 hour, 2 or 3 times a week.
Right.
That's not that much. And so if you think about it this way, let's just say your child, and there are another example related to this, let's just say your child is going into 5th grade, and instead of being a 5.0 perhaps at the end of their 4th grade year, maybe they're at a 4.5. Now the summer comes around, and now they actually start 5th grade at a 4.2, 4.1, even further behind.
Wow.
Okay, so it's critical that over the summer academics is taking place. Here at our center, what we do is we push forward into the next school year immediately, so our kids are actually ahead when they start back in August. Okay?
Okay. Interesting. So we've recapped on number one. I think number one was a big issue of just making sure that, you know, parents get that diagnostic internally and externally.
Yes.
And I know here at the studio, you provide some diagnostic. Can you walk the parents through what that process is like and what can they expect once they decide to take you up on, let's say, a free diagnostic offer?
Absolutely. All they would need to do is give us a call here at our center. And once they give us a call, 407-545-4725 is our number. Once they give us a call here at the center, what we do is we automatically, depending on the student's grade, we set up diagnostic testing, which is free. We do it here at the center. And it really takes a close look at reading comprehension and math. If they're in the middle and high school area, we are also looking at algebra particularly, because that's the big area that we see weakness on as kids go into the middle school years. And so they set up the diagnostic testing. We also set up with them a free test consultation. They come in for the testing. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour to complete the testing. About 24 hours later, we get the test results back. We share them with the parents in what we call our free test consultation. If it's a middle school or high school student, we absolutely want the child at the test consultation because they need to hear it. They're starting to become young men and women. We want their buy-in.
Absolutely.
And then at the test consultation, we have a lot of answers. We show on the test the child's strengths, weaknesses, and what needs to be done and how long it will take to get them caught up. And perhaps even when they're caught up, how much ahead do we want to get them?
Okay.
And so it's a pretty simple process, just a matter of giving us a call and we set up the test times. And then at the consultation, we make a recommendation on what would best help that child based on the parents' input.
Okay, beautiful. So you got some great tips here. I know I learned a lot. I mean, the 7 tips are really, to me, detailed how you as a parent, an individual, can leverage these strategies and secrets to help inspire and empower your child to improve their school grades and overall test scores. I did want to find out, you know, if someone has questions specifically about any of the 7 steps. You mentioned a number they can reach you. Can you repeat that number?
Yeah, sure. They can call us here at the center, 407-545-4725.
Okay.
That connects right to us here at the center. We'd be glad to answer any questions you may have. We've got a lot of changing rules now going on with the Florida Standards Assessment.
Gotcha.
We'll be glad to help and set up a diagnostic for you or just answer some general education questions. We're happy to assist.
And your website is?
www.oviedo.tutoringcenter.com.
Fantastic. So you guys can go over to the website, or there may be a link or a button below this video that you can click on to basically get access to the free diagnostic offer. So again, this is Darian Hill. Thank you so much, Dr. Ancona, for this interview.
Thank you very much.
Hope
Appreciate
you
it.
guys received some great value. I know as a parent of two, I received tremendous value. So again, contact Dr. Ancona here at the Tutoring Center of Oviedo, and they can definitely help you to, again, empower your child to improve their test scores, improve their overall school grades, and finally end homework frustration. Anyway, you guys take care. Thanks again for tuning in. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.